Hello, my name is Shaka. My topic of discussion is going to be, did the police conduct a thorough investigation in the case of Greg Kelly? Gregory Kelly was an 18-year-old high school senior on his way to a successful football career until he was convicted of 2 counts of super aggravated assault of a child. Super aggravated assault is when the victim, in fact, is under the age of 6 years old. Greg Kelly was accused of molesting two 4-year-old children in a in-home daycare. To start out, Greg actually lived with his family who were moving to a different school district. Because Greg wanted to finish out the school year, one of his teammates' parents decided that Greg can come live with them to finish out his school year. And that's where Greg resided. At the same time, this family had an in-home daycare. So those 2 children were a part of that daycare. They came out to their families that they were molested by Greg Kelly. Greg was ultimately convicted and sentenced to 25 years without the possibility of parole. His defense attorneys filed for motions to retrial, which was denied. Appeals were denied. But ultimately, Greg ended up with a new defensive attorney who was able to present to the courts new evidence that may, in fact, lighten Greg Kelly's sentence, and he may show that he was innocent. So more evidence was produced, evidence that in fact the police department should have seen the first time around, that probably would have caused Greg to not be convicted of this serious crime. With the support of his community and his family and friends, Greg's new case was presented. More evidence came to light, evidence that in fact would have probably caused his teammate to go to jail for these crimes instead of him, such as the pajamas that the young man was wearing, or where in the house these assaults took place. All of these things were things that the children told the police department when it happened, but none of those things were presented in court. So, how do you conduct an investigation without having the person actually pick out the person who they thought may have hurt them? Greg Kelly's picture was never presented to the 2 young children to ask, did this man actually hurt you? In fact, Greg Kelly and his teammate looked so similar that they were often mistaken for each other. So, did the police department present a thorough investigation? Did evidence that could have been clear Greg Kelly? They didn't. His lawyer, his second lawyer, brought these different types of evidences to light, brought new witnesses to the stand. Greg Kelly was ultimately exonerated of all charges against him, but after a very tedious 6 years, 3 years of being in jail and 3 years of sitting out on bail awaiting. They basically almost took this man's whole life away from him because of their investigation. Now I agree that there were things that could have come out that his first lawyer could have brought, and she did not. There were proof of evidence that Greg hadn't even lived in the home at the time. There were things that showed that Greg wasn't even in the area at the time. And although these children are only 4, and I know that they don't have a great sense of time because most children don't at that age, they knew a roundabout time. And that same roundabout time is around the time that Greg moved out of the home. So how does Greg molest these children if he was never there during the time that these children are saying that they were hurt? It's tough, but you have to look at all the evidence, and I don't think that happened. So Greg Kelly is now a free man. He does attend college and he does play football in school, but that opportunity almost never happened for him. Let's take a look. Thank you.